question for you, because I don't believe in abortion either when it comes to using it as birth control, but I was adopted, and I have a son who was adopted. And because there's no foster cares out in the world, so I'm just curious, if we have no abortions for incest or for rape or for, because I was raped at 17.
I'm so sorry.
First time I ever had sex, somebody pulled a knife on my throat.
That's awful.
Forced me in a car. So I guess my question is this. Give me your opinion on those things, because I don't know anybody who is not pro-abortion.
Yeah. Can I ask how you're doing now, if you're doing okay, and if you know...
It's affected my whole life. I am very spatial, meaning I don't feel safe anywhere. Never had time or money to get therapy or help or any of that. But just give me your opinion, because I'd love to know.
I'm so sorry you went through that. That sounds really, really difficult.
It is, but you know, we learn to function the best we can.
So, sorry, can you explain kind of what specifically you're asking me about? It sounds like you're...
So you are anti-abortion.
That's right,
completely.
yeah.
Is that because of religion? Is that, so that means none, even if somebody's raped or incest or something like that?
Yeah, so I'm pro-life because I believe in human rights.
Right.
I'm sure you'd agree with me,
Yes,
human rights
absolutely.
are important. And so I think, the science is really clear that human life begins at the moment of fertilization. Right. And so that would mean that the embryo or the fetus that's being killed in an abortion is a human being.
Okay.
To me, I think that's a human rights violation.
Okay.
And so I think, I'm glad you brought up the topic of sexual assault, of rape, because that's something that comes up a lot.
Right.
It really makes me really sad that happens so much in our country, and that I don't think we do enough about it. Yeah. Right? I think there's not enough support for women that are victims. I think our justice system has some issues that make it really difficult to do the right thing in those cases, and that makes me really upset.
Yeah, there's no justice in our justice
absolutely
system.
Yeah,
there's never been.
Yeah. And so I think there's a lot we need to be doing better to support, people that are victims of assault, and punish the perpetrators, right?
Right.
I guess I see abortion as very similar to rape, because they're both a violent act against another human being.
That's true.
And so I think there's injustice in both of those things that we need to be working against.
So my question is this. If we do away with all abortions, what happens to all these children? Nobody is stepping up in the world to take care of the foster kids. They're overrun. They're not available. Now what happens to all these kids? I don't know how many abortions there are a year, but I know it's astronomical. So just a thought.
Yeah, in Michigan there are 90 abortions a day that happen.
So are you kidding me?
I'm not. So I think, we agree that every child deserves love and care, right? Child abuse is always wrong, and I want to do everything possible to prevent that as a society. I think abortion is also a form of child abuse, right? Whether the child is inside of the womb or outside of the womb, it's wrong to harm them. I do think, though, the foster care system is designed for reuniting kids with their families, right? If the parents, are unable to parent for a time, but the goal is reunification. And so I think often, if we were to end abortion, a lot of those children that are born would then be adopted. There are many more couples in the U.S. waiting to adopt than there are infants being put up for adoption. But also I think a lot of mothers who seek abortion would be good parents if they're given the support that they need, right? And so that's why, I support pregnancy resource centers, other groups like that help provide options to mothers who maybe they think that abortion is their only option, but when they're given support, they're wonderful parents.